Most people believe they'll notice the moment a cat chooses them. They expect something obvious, affection, closeness, maybe a sudden change in behavior that feels unmistakable. But for most cats, choosing someone doesn't arrive with a signal. It arrives as a shift, a quiet adjustment that happens slowly enough to go unnoticed until one day you look back and realize something has been different for a while. Cat doesn't choose loudly. They don't announce it. They don't seek confirmation. What they do instead is begin to exist around you differently. Their body relaxes sooner. Their movements settle more easily. Their presence starts to feel less accidental and more intentional, even when nothing is happening at all. In this episode, we're not exploring ownership or training or dominance. Cats don't experience relationships in those terms. We're exploring the earliest signs that a cat has made an internal decision, that you are safe, familiar, and worth staying close to. These signs are subtle. They're easy to miss, and they often mean far more than the affection people wait for. Tolerance versus choice. Every cat learns how to tolerate humans. Tolerance is survival-based. It's cautious. It's adaptive. A cat who tolerates you understands your presence but doesn't organize themselves around it. They coexist, but they remain separate. Their body stays alert. Their movements stay ready. Choice is different. Choice is when a cat begins to account for you without effort. They don't brace themselves when you enter the room. They don't reposition out of necessity. Instead, they allow you to exist without recalculating their safety each time. This isn't emotional attachment in the human sense. It's neurological trust. Their nervous system begins to register you as predictable enough to relax near. The first signs of this shift are rarely affectionate. They are spatial. Staying close without demanding anything. One of the earliest signs that a cat has chosen you is their willingness to remain near you without needing anything in return. They don't climb onto your lap. They don't vocalize. They don't seek interaction. They simply place themselves within your space and stay there. Cats don't linger out of politeness. If a cat chooses proximity without reward, it means your presence itself has become neutral or comforting. They are not trying to engage you. They are trying to share an environment. This is often the moment when a cat begins to study you not as a variable, but as a constant. They listen to your breathing. They observe how often you move. They register your sounds, your rhythm, your stillness. And they decide quietly that none of it requires distance. Watching you when nothing is happening. A cat who has chosen you doesn't watch you at your most exciting moments. They watch you when you're calm, when you're reading, when you're resting, when your attention is elsewhere. This watching isn't surveillance. It's familiarity forming. A cat who hasn't chosen you watches to anticipate danger or disruption. A cat who has chosen you watches because your presence has become part of their internal landscape. Their eyes soften. Their posture loosens. Their body language changes from alert to observational. They are learning who you are when you are not performing. And that version of you matters more to a cat than any attention you offer. Synchronizing with your daily rhythm. Another early sign often mistaken for coincidence is timing. A cat who has chosen you begins appearing at predictable moments of your day, not because you called them, but because they anticipated you. They enter the room when you usually sit. They pass through as you wake. They linger when the house grows quiet. Cats don't bond through memory the way humans do. They bond through rhythm. When a cat aligns their internal clock with yours, it means they've begun organizing their world around your presence. You are no longer an interruption. You are part of the pattern. The body softens before the behavior changes. People often wait for affection as proof of trust. But cats don't begin with affection. They begin with relaxation. Long before a cat rubs against you or seeks touch, their body starts to release tension around you. Their shoulders lower. Their breathing slows. Their tail rests instead of flicking. These changes happen without intention. They are involuntary signals that the cat's nervous system no longer perceives you as something that needs constant monitoring. This is one of the most honest signs a cat can offer, because it cannot be performed. A relaxed body is a truthful body. Adjusting instead of leaving. One of the most revealing moments in a cat's decision to trust someone happens during movement. Not dramatic movement, not loud disruption, but the ordinary shifts of a human body. Standing up, crossing a room, adjusting on a chair. For a cat who has not yet chosen you, these changes still carry uncertainty. Movement means variables. Variables mean distance. And so the cat leaves not out of dislike, but out of instinct. When a cat has chosen you, something subtle changes. They no longer treat your movement as a signal to retreat. Instead, they pause, observe, and adapt. They slide a few inches over. They turn their body slightly. They resettle themselves as if your motion were part of the environment rather than a threat within it. This moment often goes unnoticed because it feels unremarkable, and that is precisely what makes it meaningful. Adjustment requires expectation. The cat is no longer reacting. They are anticipating. They expect you to move, and more importantly, they expect you to remain. Your presence has become stable enough that it doesn't need constant reassessment. Even when you disrupt the stillness, the cat no longer reads danger into the change. They read continuity. This is one of the earliest signs that a cat's trust has shifted from conditional to internal. Your unpredictability has faded into the background of their awareness. It no longer demands attention. It no longer interrupts their sense of safety. And in a world where cats survive by noticing everything, choosing not to notice you is a profound form of trust. Sleeping where they can sense you. Sleep is one of the most honest expressions of trust a cat can offer, because it removes the ability to perform or pretend. A sleeping cat is vulnerable by design. Their senses dull, their reactions slow. And because of this, cats are deeply selective about where and how they rest. Before a cat ever sleeps beside you, they often choose a place where they can sense you without fully sharing space. They rest outside your door, just beyond arm's reach, or at the edge of the room where your presence can be heard and felt. These locations are not accidental. They allow the cat to remain aware of you while still preserving a small measure of distance. It is trust in progress, not hesitation. This behavior is sometimes mistaken for guarding or dependence, but it is neither. It is reassurance. Your sound, your scent, and the predictability of your presence begin to act as a stabilizing signal for the cat's nervous system. The rhythm of your breathing, the cadence of your movements, the familiarity of your routine all contribute to an environment that feels safe enough for rest. Cats do not sleep deeply where they feel uncertain. They sleep lightly, ready to wake. But near those they trust, that vigilance softens. Their body allows longer pauses. Their muscles loosen. Their sleep grows heavier, not because they are unaware, but because they no longer feel the need to be. By the time a cat sleeps openly in your presence, stretched out, exposed, unguarded, the choice has already been made. That decision did not happen in the moment their eyes closed. It happened earlier in countless quiet assessments that concluded with the same answer. This presence does not require defense. Why cats choose quietly. Cats evolved through caution. Trust, for them, is not emotional first, it's physiological. Their body must decide you are safe before their mind ever does. That's why choosing you doesn't look like devotion. It looks like ease. Ease builds slowly, silently, without ceremony. By the time affection appears, the foundation has already been laid through countless unnoticed moments of calm coexistence. If you're wondering whether a cat has chosen you, it may help to stop looking for affection and start noticing presence. Not how often they touch you, but how often they stay. Not how excited they seem, but how relaxed they become. Cats don't announce trust. They live it. And when a cat chooses your company when nothing is being offered in return, no food, no play, no attention, something meaningful has already happened. You didn't force it. You didn't earn it through effort. You were simply safe enough, consistently enough, for a cat to decide. If this episode helped you see your cat, or a past connection, a little more clearly, you're welcome here. At Cat Facts Funny, we explore cats not as habits to manage, but as lives unfolding quietly beside ours. If you'd like to continue these reflections, consider subscribing, not for tips or tricks, but for understanding. And until next time, pay attention to the quiet moments. That's where cats say the most.